Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced, and this game was played in Esports World Cup. With the white pieces we have 5 times world champion and the best player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, and with the black pieces we have the prodigy Northern Abdusattorov. So without further ado, let's start with this game. We have d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to f3, and d5. Going for the queen's gambit decline, we have knight to c3, bishop to e7, and here just c captures, bishop to f4. Going for a London system kind of setup, we have c6, h3, and here bishop to f5. We have e3, queen to b6, bishop to d3, and here bishop captures. Queen captures is trading that bishop pair early on, and we have castles, and here knight bd7, and here queen to c2, but just a5, and here knight to e1, just trying to remaneuver that knight to maybe c5 or e5 depending on the position, and we have this queen to a6, and here knight to d3, a4, rook f to c1, and here just going for rook f to e8, just trying to get this rook on this very nice tag and very nice file, and we have queen to d1, and here just bishop to f8. We have b4, trying to push those pawns early on, and obviously black is not going to allow this. A captures en passant, and we have a captures, and here the queen is under attack, so it has to be moved. So queen to b6, and there's a lot of way you can approach this position. Here the best way is just to go for this knight to a4. Then after queen to b5, now you play this knight to c3, queen to b6, b4, and here finally rook captures. Rook captures, knight to e4, just getting that knight on a very nice square. And if now you capture that knight which is on e4, you get pawn captures. Then you have to move, and this becomes weak, so this can be captured. So definitely that's not what you want to do. So here knight to a4, attacking the queen, queen to d8, but now here just knight to a to c5, and here just knight captures on c5, and now obviously b captures, and you'll get this position where your pawn structure has been fixed. Knight is a menace, but you can handle it with this fixed pawn structure. You'll have a great game. But here after queen to b6 we had b4, and this b4 is a good move or not, let's see, because here knight to e4, same move as that was supposed to be, but now rook captures, and we have knight captures on e4. Magnus trading everything. We have d captures, knight to c5, and here just knight to f6. And if you captured, then again the same thing. You'll get a great pawn structure, and you'll have a great game. So definitely going for that. And here just bishop to e5, and now with bishop to e5, if you now capture, your pawn structure get ruined, queens infiltrates your rank, and you don't want that to happen. So here knight to d5, but now here comes knight captures, so you grab the e4 pawn, and temporarily Magnus is up a pawn. So let's see how long that lasts. Queen caps on b4, well, didn't last that much. Knight to c5, and here just bishop captures, and here pawn captures, and here queen to e4, but now here bishop to d4, and here rook to d8, nicely aligning against that queen, and we have queen to g4, asking for a queen trade. Asking for queen trade is absolutely fine in this position. I mean, position is completely draw or heading towards a draw, or does it turn into a draw? Because, well, Magnus effect is absolutely real. We have queen captures, h captures, and here knight to c7, rook to b1, and here knight to b5, just cutting off the rook's attack towards that pawn. And we have rook to b4, f6. This bishop is very strong, so you have to be somewhere along the line, be careful, and also you have to make room for your king, because background weaknesses can lead to, well, not great results. We have f4, and here just king to f7, king to f2, rook to 8, and just bishop to b2. We have h6, and here king to f3, but just rook to a2, and now here going for this e4, and now here rook to a8, king to e3, rook to d8, and here just nicely getting that rook along towards that file, and also in some lines maybe just not allowing that king to cross over to the other side. Rook to a4, just rook to d1, and here rook to a1, asking for a rook trade, but just rook to d8. So both players just waiting and seeing what the other player will do. f5, but now comes this king to e7, and here just e5, just pushing that pawn, and we have f captures, bishop captures, and here just king to f7, and here king to f4, rook to d5, and here just rook to a8. And here in this position you're gonna have to be very much careful, because you can see that the lot of squares are covered, and this attack is also there. I mean, even these squares are covered, and you have to be very much careful. King can get boxed in. So here just rook captures on c5 was played, and you can see the bar shoot up, because this is actually an insane blunder that was done by Northern, because now you understand the real problem. If the rooks gets over to the second rank, you can see that it could get very ugly. The best move was just to go for g5 right away. Yes, en passant is there. King captures, rook to g8, and once the king moves to f7, now you play rook to g7 check. King moves to e6, now you play rook to g6 check. King back to e7, king to e4, just threatening something, but now you can capture. And yes, there is a double pawn, but you have the h6 pawn which will be captured now. But here you can think that just 4 points away you can just completely win this thing, but not really, because here just rook to c4 check, king moves, knight to d4 check, bishop captures, rook captures, and here you go king to f8. And now it's not going to be this easy. And yes, you do lose the b7 pawn for it, but even though you are pawn down, it's mostly going to be a draw. But here after rook caps on c5, rook to b8, and now you understand the problem, because there is no knight to d6 in this position to defend that pawn. So you cannot defend that pawn. And if the rook gets to the back rank, it's going to be very much dangerous. So here g5 tried now, but it's a bit too late. F captures, king captures, and rook caps on b7. And now there is nothing in this position that can stop this checkmate. And you can see that this is looking very much dangerous in this position. I mean, if this is allowed, well, you can you can resign instead of allowing that. So here just rook caps on e5 was tried, sacrificing the exchange, but here just king captures, knight to c3, king to f4, and here rook to e2 check, and king to e3 just going for this knight to c3, king to f3, and knight to d5, and here just rook to d7, but here just king to g5, and here knight to d6. The position is completely lost, but you're gonna try and maybe see you can get some fork in here and there. Knight to b4, rook to e6, not allowing the knight to any way come inside the position. We have knight to c2, rook to e5 check, king moves, and we have this rook to c5. And here you're going to lose one of those things, but first just knight to d4. But here after king to e4, whatever you do, you're going to play this, maybe attack this, but you lose the pawn. And then even in some lines I can just sacrifice it and go for the endgame, and I'm going to be in a completely winning position. So no point in doing that. Here in this position, Abdusattorov resigned the game after 57 moves, and Magnus got this spectacular victory in just 57 moves. And next match, he just have to get a draw, and he'll win the game right away and lead to the other matches in the winners bracket. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with such amazing games. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon.